Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to On the Swivel at the Sports Bar. Hey, listen, this is the second season, 50th episode. So, welcome aboard. You're on the swivel. Hey, listen, of course, we're in the midst of, football season, basketball in season tournament is going on hot and heavy. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to get to some just general banter at the end. We're going to talk just a little bit of college football because, we got the Week 12 there and some of the top 10 games to look forward to this weekend. So, that's what's going to go on, you know. So, hang around, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you just come here for a second, just hit the like button on your way in and put some comments in here. If you want to know, put an emoji, a comment, all that kind of stuff in there. You know, and that's what I'd appreciate. And we're coming at this every week, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So welcome aboard. And hey, that's just the way it is. All right. So a couple of my fellas may be up, may not be. If not, it's going to be just me solo, which is cool. I don't mind doing that. But if you have some banter going back and forth, that's fun too. Where the guys show up. But anyway, again, we're going to start off with football in a second. And then with that, we'll go into basketball. And of course, the great baseball playoffs have been over. So we got the two main sports going on, football and basketball. We're going into the holiday season with Thanksgiving coming up, with all the great sports going to be surrounded by Thanksgiving, not Halloween coming up, but Thanksgiving coming up, and that kind of stuff. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on with it. Start talking about a little football, uh, and so here goes. With the song, go ahead, play out a little bit more, and we'll get on with that. Hey, there you go. And listen, of course, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Uh, we're not live, so ain't no chat. But hey, if you're listening to this on a replay, put a comment in. But subscribe to the channel. If you like the show, share it with some friends and tell them to come over to this. And every Wednesday when I put this out after I'm finished, it's like an hour long show. Somewhere before 9 o'clock, I'll have this out and posted. I may go back live again. So if I do that, then you'll know about that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some football, right? We're in the middle of the season, and the season start off with a bang. So here's the current standings, you know, current standings are, and some close races. The Eagles, they're not playing their best football, but they're still at the top. They're going to run away with the NFC East. You can already see it. The NFC North, it's going to be a close race. All the teams are still in it. Even the Vikings, even though they seem kind of weak, those two games could be eaten up. Uh, but the Lions, Packers, and the Bears, they're right there. The Bucks and Seattle is a surprise team, and the Rams. Actually, they're playing this week coming up, so that's a highlighted game. The Patriots uh, at the top of the damn AFC East, and not the Bills. That's important, but it's not over yet. Not over yet. They're the Dolphins and the Jets. Again, they're out of it. The Steelers may look at the Ravens come back and tie them up this week. The Steelers have a really big game coming up, and of course, the Ravens can't afford to lose anymore. And we'll look at who their matchups are coming up this week. The Colts, the Jags are playing good football, and they have a decent game coming up, I think. And then the Colts looking good, and the Broncos are looking good. I think the Broncos and the Chargers are playing. I'm not sure. So Anyway, so we're gonna get into the matchups coming up in a second. So it's some good football ahead of us this weekend. And so there you go. Let me see what else is going on. So here's the matchups coming up in the week. Okay, the Bengals are playing the Steelers. Of course, that's a division game, so that should be interesting. Even though the Steelers are in first place, they could definitely lose that game to the Bengals. You know, they could definitely lose that game to the Bengals. Okay, and Flacco's playing some good football. Tomlin was mad that he got traded there in the first place. The 49ers and the Cardinals should be a competitive game. The Seahawks and the Rams. There you go. The Chiefs and the Broncos. I'm going to get to the game. So there's some standout games coming up. Now, the Ravens, they can't sleep on the Browns. A couple of times they've done that before, but they can't sleep on the Browns. They should win that game, but that's one of those kind of games that they might call a trap game because they might sleep on these guys. Who knows? And if they win, and the Steelers, who can actually lose that game, their game coming up, where the Steelers, maybe the Steelers against the Bengals, you know, the Ravens can claw themselves back up into a tie, right? They're only one game behind in the loss column. So if they win and the Steelers lose, they got a kind of dead heat. They got 2 games to play each other in the last part of the season, too. So there you go. So the Steelers can't afford to lose that game. And neither can the Ravens. But the Steelers are looking, you know, kind of more desperate with the Ravens on their heels. So here's my five games this week coming up. You know, I think I picked some of the best ones: the Seahawks and the Rams, the Chiefs and the Broncos, the Lions and the Eagles, the Bears and the Vikings only because it's divisional and the Bears are still in it, and then the Chargers and the Jaguars. The Jaguars, you know, nobody's used to this, but they're playing good this year. You know, so there you go. And what have you. So we're going to look at the power rankings like I do every week. So week 11, let's just take a look at it. I'll just play like maybe 3 minutes of this coming up, maybe a little less. You know, and let's just see what the power rankings say.
Welcome to CBS Sports HQ, presented by Geico. I'm Chris Hassel. We were looking at having the top 2 teams in Pete Prisco's power rankings play each other this week. It was the Bucs on top. The Bills were right behind them. Both of them lost, and they have fallen out of the top 5. But we will still have a matchup between number 1 and number 2 as we look at Pete Prisco's NFL Power Rankings presented by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico. Look who's number 1 and number 2. It's the Seahawks and the Rams on a collision course to meet this week for first place in the NFC West and maybe even the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Eagles have a game against the Lions. If the Eagles lose that, the winner of that Seahawks-Rams game would have the 1 seed at this time next week. So they're the best of the best right now. Patriots, they were the subject of Pete's deep dive article at CBSSports.com at number 3, followed by the Eagles and the Colts, who are still in that 1 seed position in the AFC. Let's get to it. Joined by Pete Prisco and Lige Douzable. And Pete, did you set it up that way? You had the 2 teams that were going to be going head-to-head this week at 1 and 2 last week, and they're replaced by the 2 teams that are also playing this week, the Seahawks and Rams.
I called Sean McDermott and Todd Bowles and said, if you lose, I'm going to put those 2 in.
It's a handshake deal.
Yeah, right. They did a nice job for
So what do you think of these 2 teams at the top? How do they separate themselves in this game?
Well, I think when you look at these 2 teams, they're both pretty similar. They're getting big plays in the passing game, and they can rush the passer. I mean, this is a passer and pass rusher league, and they both can do it. And we saw what Seattle's defense did to Arizona last week. Turned Jacoby Brissett back into Jacoby Brissett, and he turned the ball over for big plays with DeMarcus Lawrence had 2 touchdowns. So I think the biggest difference if this was, like I said earlier, if this is December I think you'd probably look at it and say, okay, Stafford's going to outplay Sam Darnold. But it's November.
Yeah.
And I think for that reason, I think I'm going to take
You still feel like that shoe's going to drop?
Well, I think Seattle's the better team right now.
Yeah.
Just right now. And for a couple of reasons. I think defensively, when they get their secondary, they're getting their secondary back, they're better in the secondary. Sure. They can rush the passer as well.
They're going up against the hottest quarterback in the NFL.
He is right now.
That defense is legit, though. I think Seattle's really legit on defense. And Mike McDonald does a great job of scheming things up.
To your point, this is why I had them as a top 5 defense. Our biggest question mark was this guy right here. Sam Darnold in the offense with Clinton Kubiak coming in. Also, remember that offensive line really struggled last year, and they've refortified that offensive line. They're actually getting really good play from their tackles who they drafted a few years ago.
Look, the only question is, how come these quarterbacks seem to play better once they leave New York? Sam Darnold is playing a decent brand of football. So the New York, they have them for a while. They get all the cobwebs out, and then they send these guys out, into the football league where they don't have the pressure of New York and New York media, and they seem to thrive. Same thing with my man Daniel Jones, right? He leaves New York and he's playing much better than he ever played in New York, right? The pressure's gone from the media, and whatever cobwebs they had, they got a few years to get it out of their system in the worst conditions, New York conditions, where the expectations are unreasonable. The media is just treacherous and unreasonable, and unfair. And so they go somewhere else and they all thrive, So there you go. So with this, I don't get too far with this show. I just wanted to show the power rankings and that kind of stuff. And, so these guys are pretty good. All right, so now that we have the NFL out of the way, let's go to college football. College football, we're in week 12, and this young man here, he always does a good job of wrapping up on what's the best college football games to watch during the week. So here's his top 10, and so let's get with it.
Here are the top 10 college football games of Week 12. Coming in number 10, we've got Utah on the road versus Baylor. The Utes looking to keep their playoff hopes alive, and Baylor looking to revitalize a season that has not gone the way they've hoped so far. We'll stick in the Big 12 for number 9 with Arizona on the road versus Cincinnati. The Wildcats at 6-3. They've had a pleasantly surprising season, but so is Cincinnati, who's still in Big 12 title contention at this point. Could be a big swing game. At number 8, if you're noticing a theme, a lot of great games in the Big 12 this weekend. TCU, a really good Horned Frogs team coming off a tough loss to Iowa State. They go on the road to play a BYU squad that's reeling a little bit after taking their first loss of the season. If the Cougars aren't careful, they could make it 2 in a row here. We've got another game with big-time playoff implications in the American as these top contenders continue to play each other. This time it's the Bulls heading on the road to play the Midshipmen, who have lost 2 games in a row, still only 1 conference loss. They've got all their goals ahead of them, and they would love nothing more than to upset South Florida. Michigan hits a critical stretch in the month of November. They have to go on the road to play a Wildcats team that has been very pesky in Big Ten play this year, and they're still 1 game away from bowl eligibility. They would love nothing more than to take out the Wolverines. Who would have thought this offseason that Virginia at Duke would be a hugely pivotal game for the ACC title race? Both teams still only with 1 conference loss. The winner of this one positions themselves in a great position to make the ACC title game. Duke has 4 losses overall, but because 3 of them are in the non-conference, they're still in this conversation. Fresh off of their crushing loss to Oregon, Iowa now has to hit the road to the Coliseum to play a USC team that still has all of their goals in front of them, including a Big Ten title shot and a playoff shot. College game day is headed to Pittsburgh to watch Notre Dame take on the Panthers. The Fighting Irish have no room for error. If they lose, they are out of the playoff race. For Pitt, on the other hand, as Narduzzi kindly pointed out, they actually could afford to lose this one and still win the ACC, but hopefully that doesn't show up between the white lines and they show up motivated. We've got a rematch of the SEC title game, Texas at Georgia. The Bulldogs looking to make it 3 in a row versus the Longhorns. Both teams have shown a ton of flaws this year, and yet both are alive in the playoff race late. And at number 1, we've got a real grudge match here between Oklahoma and Alabama. Last season, the Sooners effectively knocked the Tide out of the playoff contention by handing them their 3rd loss, and Alabama's got an opportunity to return the favor here. This one should be absolute cinema. Here are the top 10.
There you go. So this guy does a good job. So now you guys know which teams to watch. So many football games on. Maybe yours isn't in the top 10, but for the most part, he's going to hit a large swath of the college football viewing public with these games. All right, so and on to the National Basketball Association. All right, so here's the standings. Now, who would have thunk it? The Pistons are at the top of the league. It's still early on the East. So the Pistons got their team together. They got some young players that are playing well. The Knicks are in second place. Look at that, one game out. It's early, but they. I'm glad that they show some competitive fire after last year in the playoffs. It looks like the Knicks, haven't just said, okay, we're one and done, and all of a sudden now we're looking uphill. Brunson and the team is still there, still hungry, which it looks good right now. It'd be nice for them to even this early to kiss the number one seed. So they're close. And the Heat, the Cavaliers, the usual suspects are there in the East. Of course, the Celtics are absolutely uber hurt. So I don't even expect them to make the playoffs this year. And of course, the Pacers, the same thing. Excuse me. The fact that they're 1-10 is absolutely incredible after the run they had last year. All right, man. What's going on, Ramsey? What's happening, man? Can you hear me? Ramsey? Hello? Are you? I see you there.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, nothing much, man. Just dialed in about 2 minutes ago. And
yeah, man, I'm glad I got you up there. I went over the football already. I can go back. They got some.
No.
Huh?
Okay. No, that's all right. I didn't realize. I'd look at the standings, but I did not realize that the Pistons were number one seed until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, they're playing some good basketball. Of course, it's still early in the season. I was surprised to see the Knicks at the second place. Last time I looked, last week they were like in 4, and it's just we're just getting started, But some of the teams like the Celtics, all their main players hurt. Tatum, a couple other guys, and of course the Pacers, man, they're 1-10 because Halliburton's down. But as good as he is, I don't think they should be that bad.
Yeah, that's amazing. 1-10.
1-10.
Yeah, that's pitiful.
Yeah, I mean, so the rest of the guys ain't standing up, man. Somebody got to stand up because from what I understand, he's the only one with a catastrophic injury. I don't know if somebody else is out because I haven't been watching their games, but 1-10 is really.
I don't believe so. When you think of all the games they won last year without Halliburton, they were at least competitive,
Yeah, shoot. And then, of course, the Thunder, they're looking good. The West the Lakers are actually looking pretty good, but, they got some, the West is always competitive. They're going to be competitive this year. So, the funny thing is the Pelicans, right there at the bottom, your man, Zion Williamson, he loses all that weight, all that kind of stuff, only to be hurt early in the season again. So I don't know. I mean, the guy can't, see, that's why I didn't think his injuries were weight related. They could have been, but I just think he's just kind of brittle. I mean,
you would think a guy that big and powerful wouldn't be, as, to use your word, as brittle as he is. Yeah. I think he, maybe this has nothing to do with it, but maybe he just needs a change of scenery,
Well, I just think that, that he needs one, but you know what? Wherever he goes, he takes himself with him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with him with the ratchet ass honeys that he fools around with. And, his complete lack of any kind of discipline. So I don't know, man. I just think the fact is that I think there's other things wrong with him structurally because the shit that he gets hurt on and he can't play is things that other people just bounce off, other people can play with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. So anyway, so it's just getting started. I mean, I've been watching some of the in-season playoff games, and we're going to get to that a little bit. But since you're here, let me. We got a little bit of minutes. Let's go back to some football, man. So,
okay. And while you're doing that with the Mavericks, so they fired.
I'm gonna get to that. I got something.
You got something on that?
Right. Yeah, I got something on that. We'll get to that for sure. Yeah. So here's your standings in football. You can see these, right? So the Bills, right? It's surprising that they're behind the Patriots, and the Bills lost some lost some games there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if we could say they're taking a step back, or is that the Patriots have taken a bigger step forward.
Yeah, well, the Patriots did beat them 3-4 weeks ago, and the Bills lost to Miami.
Oh
The,
yeah, that
the,
was
the
a big
Dolphins
loss.
this past Sunday.
They didn't just lose; they got their ass kicked.
Yeah, the score was what, 30-13 or something like that. So you would have thought that it would have been just the opposite.
Well, I'm thinking now, how did they show up to that game like that?
Some are attributing it to, and this isn't an excuse, they call it a reason, but the heat. It was like 85 degrees down there.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
granted, the Dolphins are playing in the same heat, but they're supposedly acclimated to that type of heat. But
Get out of here.
there are turnovers. The Bills had 3 turnovers, like inside the 30-yard line. So they
Now
didn't
the
have 2 of those
Buccaneers are coming to
turnovers. It
the.
might have been a different outcome.
Yeah, see now I was thinking maybe they were overlooking Miami for
Yeah,
the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers ain't that big of a game. I mean, it's a big game, but it's not even like a conference game
right.
or a division game. So it can't be that they just had a letdown. They just played a bad game.
Yeah, and every team in the league has 1 or 2 of those each season. I mean, even the best teams are going to lose 4 games in a season, right?
That's true.
So
That's true.
you just never know.
Look at the Steelers and look at the Ravens. The Ravens, as bad of a start. I did some research. Right, they said only one team had a 1-5 start. I mean, what one since was it 1907? It was some astronomical kind of thing that only one team came back from a 1-5 start to make the playoffs. And I think it was 1970. It was some crazy long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And so now these guys are 1 game out, and the Steelers, they're iffy biffy. They have a pretty big game coming up. They're playing the Bengals. So even though the Bengals aren't, well, Flacco is hurting people. That's for sure. Yeah. And it's a division game. So, sometimes the records don't matter as much in a division game.
That's true.
And then the Ravens play the Browns. But if the Ravens win and the Steelers lose, right now the Ravens are all the way back in the hunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
Surprising.
Yeah.
When you look at stats like that, one team has ever come back from a 1-5 and make the playoffs. Back in 1970 or 72, they were playing 12 games or no, 14
exactly,
maybe.
exactly.
14 games or something like that. So, but still, that would be a nice comeback for the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Tomlin, if he doesn't, at some point they're going to let him go. At some point. Because even though he's a winning coach, sometimes they want to see you get deep in the playoffs. So here's my 5 games. The Seahawks and the Rams, they're battling for first place. The Chiefs and the Broncos, that's a good game. The Chiefs need to win that game. The Lions and the Eagles. The Bears and the Vikings, just because they're in the division. And then the Chargers and the Jaguars. And the Jaguars are playing better football than people give them credit for.
Yeah.
So that's my 5 to, top 5 to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through the power rankings. We know about that. College football. So here's the in-season tournament. So Toronto's playing well. So I think it's the top teams get into the playoffs. And I think a 1 wild card from each division, right? I think it's 1.
Yeah.
So they're still going through it right now. So we'll see how it pans out. I think it ends in December. Somehow mid-December, I think it's a championship game. So they're just going through round robin.
So do you think the players actually play a little bit harder because it's an in-season tournament? I would like to believe that they don't or they wouldn't play any harder, that they're already playing as hard as they can. But what's the real incentive for winning this in-season tournament, for a given player? Is there
Well,
cash involved? I
no,
haven't
it's
really
not
researched
money. Well, it's not money for these guys
it. Yeah.
because they
Exactly.
get their regular. Actually, I think I think no matter how far you get away from like playing street ball or tournament ball in the cities like Rutgers and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it's always something beneficial to players to win championships. Like when we used to play ball on the street, we used to go around neighborhoods challenging other guys from other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So and then they had intramural leagues or neighborhood leagues. Winning a championship was a big deal. Like, for example, nobody could tell me that LeBron doesn't think that first championship in-season tournament that they won and him being MVP, that trophy somewhere in the middle of his trophy room.
Yeah, perhaps.
In the
But I couldn't have even told you, Rich, who won it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or even who won it last year. I can't even tell you.
No, I hear you. I
can tell you who won the NBA championship in June, the last couple of years maybe, but who won this in-season tournament, couldn't tell you.
Well, no, me too. I don't know every year. I just know that I can mention the LeBron one because I know how much it meant to him.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who won last year or the year before. The point is, from the player's perspective, I can guarantee you they're playing harder. Not as hard as when it comes down to the time, but think about how mundane the game is for so many games all year, but especially for some guys, the league didn't start till after Christmas.
Right.
So they have something to play for. I think that's the point. Now, the fact is that people could say that's all wet because they just tank the damn All-Star weekend or All-Star game. And I think the commissioner is full of shit because he knows how to make the All-Star game worthwhile. He needs to put the American players pitted against the foreign ones.
Yep.
Money would have nothing to do with that game. They would be playing their asses off.
Correct. They definitely will.
and right now, the foreign players will probably kick their ass. If you think about it, all the top guys in the league are foreign.
Yeah, they are. And that's a game that I would pay to see. I know
exactly.
The games in LA, I would jump on a plane and buy a $200 seat. Not a $2,000 seat, but a $200 seat.
So how come they keep acting like they don't know what to do to make that game worthwhile?
Yeah.
If I could figure it out, that's all they need to do. You know what? I didn't watch the WNBA at all. Everybody had the Caitlin Clark effect. But when the WNBA All-Stars played the Olympic team, that was one of the best basketball games I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Not just for women, period.
Yeah, the All-Stars beat them, right? Beat the Olympic team.
That's right.
Yeah.
With Cheryl Miller as their coach.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in, the girls told us, listen, we ain't just trying to bullshit. We want to win.
Right.
I said, man, look at these girls are balling out.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They made a statement. They made a statement.
So I just tell you, that's what, competition means more than money. And I think that's what the in-tournament, the in-season thing brings out more competition because people want to be champions.
Yeah.
It's something that nobody could take away from you. And, so does it mean as much as the NBA championship? Of course not.
Yeah.
But it's another trophy. It's another bragging right, especially win MVP. It goes to your salary, that's for sure. If you become MVP, because first team All-American, second team, all that shit goes to how much, whether you can get a max contract. And I don't know how they made that, figured that out, but that's important in the NBA.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So there you go. So anyway, so I'm kind of intrigued by it. I like the court setup too. I like the fact they distinguish against the games based on dressing up the courts. And so I don't need to play this. Windhorse talks about the Lakers. This is a short clip. Let me just play.
I would only suspect that the modernization of the Lakers is about to come. And if I were another team, I would not think this is a great development. I think the Lakers are only going to get more dangerous as an organization with the more resources that are, theoretically here about to be poured into it.
There's no audio.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No.
Oh man, I don't know why it didn't come through. The audio didn't come through. It should have. But that's all right. All he said was that he likes the Lakers. And they got this white boy. I forgot his name. Not Luca. What's that guy's name?
The guard they had it for.
Yes, he's pretty good.
Scoring 30 points a game.
Yeah, man, he's good, man.
Yeah,
he is good.
if I'm not mistaken,
back, is he back yet?
No, he's not back. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm surprised I can't call his name either. But because he's been with them 3 years or so, right?
Yeah, he's been with them for a while. Yeah. Now they're playing him, and this guy is pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, and he was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken, out of Arkansas or something.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but that's all right. But anyhow, so the Lakers are hot. They, you can't play with them, and of course now, let me hope you can hear this one. Wemby, and here's some highlights of this guy. Can you hear that?
Stepping back.
You can't hear that either?
No.
I don't know why you can't hear it. You should be able to hear it. Let me see. I know it's sharing it. Yeah, it's being shared. The fact that you can't hear it, I don't know if it's on my end, because I can hear it pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But it really, it's just we got to get that fixed, because there's got to be some way you can. Do you have anything extra?
No, running on this. I'm running on my iPad. And,
so
nothing else is on it.
All right. So when I can hear, if you can hear me, you should be able to hear this, because I can hear it. And I'm trying to think how you can hear it. You sure to just speakers on for the audio?
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Did you hear? You weren't here for that either. That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you perfectly clear.
Yeah, so I'm surprised you can't.
And I've not had a problem in the past when you've, done videos or audio. So
yeah, so I don't know how to fix that. I don't know whether it's something extra. And when the video is playing, if there's another secondary sound thing that you have to turn on your iPad, so let me take a look when you look at it, because you should be able to hear it.
I'm sure about that one. That quick 3-ball. Wembanyama right at Colaware. She's opened up our eyes.
If you can't hear it, man, that's all right. But anyhow, some of this you don't even need to hear. Just look at Wimpy. Just look at it.
Oh, there's no question. Wow. Nice. Sell drives the alley-oop. Top Victor with the one hand.
This guy.
Thought he got fouled last time down the floor. Oh, Wembanyama wants it on Wiggins. Pulls away and scores. Pulls it to Castle, who gives it right back to him. Wembanyama off glass. Harper up. Wembanyama banks it out with the lefty. Hawkins Jr. Wembanyama just grabs it.
Say what?
The Ralph Sampson kind of look, the body type, and
yes.
The early Ralph Sampson.
Well, was Ralph Sampson ever as good as him? You know what I'm saying? Ralph,
I guess in college, and his first year with Houston, he was very good. Then the injuries hit him.
Yeah, but he never had to handle.
That's true. But back then he wasn't expected to handle. Right?
But that's true. That's true.
Basically Ralph would just post up, they get him the ball and throw him a few alley-oops. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Wemby, he can handle with the best of any big man.
Yeah, man. He's special, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? You think he's right now he's kind of front runner for MVP, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
He and maybe Luka,
Oh, that's right. Luka's playing well too.
Yeah.
Now, and it's so funny because that's not to say that my man the Joker has really moved back, but it's just like, hey, man, we can't keep giving it to this guy, right? Because he's still dangerous.
Yeah.
Well,
he's one of these two of those, right? He's one of these two, maybe three, right? The Joker.
Did he win 3? I know he won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
He might have 3. Okay, so Nico Harrison finally gets fired for probably one of the worst trades in his history. So what do you think about that? First of all, nobody liked that Luka trade because not only because what he got back, because Mr. Glass couldn't even finish, what he got hurt when they got him back.
Yeah.
On the trade. And then they fix it so they can get this the white boy from draft. And I guess he ain't playing the way they expected. Flag, right?
Yeah, Cooper Flag, right. They got him playing point guard, at least the first couple games I saw.
Well, because Kyrie's out.
Yeah, they have him bringing the ball down the court.
Well, I haven't seen his game. But they shoot. What are they? They're like, what's Dallas?
I think they were 3-8 or something like
that.
Yeah.
Barry's a 3-8. So they got flagged. They stole him as number 1 with the wet envelope. And then they got Mr. Glass.
Uh-huh.
Luka's balling out.
Yep. And slimmed down too.
And he slimmed down too, right?
Yeah.
Because they felt he was like a hopeless smoking drunk from Europe.
Right.
At least that was the excuse. That was part of their excuse to kind of sully him to make the trade look like it was something worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they get those press releases they send out there that's negative against the player they're leaving. Because all of a sudden now Luka is like a F-25. He's some lost cause because he's got got baby fat still on him.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? I mean, that comes right off the backdrop for the fact that he's probably one of the guys who won 25% of their games by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get rid of him for a dog, for Mr. Glass. And
the Brown. Yeah.
Somebody else, just so they could be in position to get the first round draft choice, which they shouldn't have based on the ping pong.
Correct. Yeah, I'm sure they weren't really expecting that, they would get the number 1 pick when they traded Luka. But, that whole Nico Harrison thing, that was a mess.
Well,
because there's no way he could really survive there.
No.
Because I don't think the Lakers and Dallas have played yet. But the next time Luka comes into Dallas and he slimmed down and he scores 40 like he did last time, there's no way Nico Harrison could survive there.
Yeah, man, come on. It's the worst trade in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
So
Austin Reeves is the guy we're trying
to
Austin
Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing well, man.
Yeah.
He's playing well. So he's like a sleeper. Sheesh, not like a sleeper. So that's Nico. So I have some, and it's too bad. This is okay. You might not hear this one, but you don't need to hear. You don't need to hear this one. So here's the NBA Woman of the Year. Okay, let me just paint the picture just in case you can't hear this for some reason. I don't know why. The kiss cam is played on her, right? So look closely.
Uh-huh. I think I saw it. Okay. Yeah. funny.
You know what they're playing? Everybody dance now. Everybody dance now. That shit. I mean, I can't, man. So I don't know why you can't. Maybe you have to go out and come back in because you got to hear some of this next stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that shit was funny, man.
That is.
It's incredible.
I don't walk away to.
Let me go back. That is wow. So she's the woman of the year.
Woman of the year.
I don't know if she's got a job and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. You know what? Why don't you go out and come back in? Because maybe that might help fix their sound. Because you can never hear it. And I'll just bring you back up.
All right, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, just cycle it once. While we wait for him to come back in, you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and bring her back up, and we can get started again. You back? Yeah, it'll take a minute or so. Ramsey, can you hear me? And it's one thing about the electronics; it always take a little bit of time, you know. So anyway, while we wait for him, I hope you guys caught what I showed last time. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to go show through a couple of things going forward. Stephen A. Smith and the little heat that he's on and under. Ever since he made the Jasmine Crockett video, which he was correct, by the way, and he should have never apologized. You know, the women have been coming after him in all kinds of ways. But this deal with him and Michelle Beadle, she's been hating this guy ever since the day at ESPN when she got him suspended, or she was allowed his voice to get him suspended during the Ray Rice incident. You know, and he had this, I think he was off. I think ESPN suspended him for 2 weeks. And I don't think he deserved 2 weeks. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
All right, yeah. So let's just take an experiment. Let me see if you can.
Yeah, because I even rebooted the entire.
Okay.
iPad.
So let's see if you can hear this.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Cool. So we might go play. That is so crazy, man. I don't know what she was feeling, but she just did that in front of the whole world. This thing, they said that was viral as hell, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's
so I don't know if she's. So they had like I read some of the comments, and one comment said her husband wants to get a divorce. I said, well, shit, man. I said her husband might be saying, yeah, that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? That could go 2 ways. He said, yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah, very, very true.
So she said she did it without like no hesitation.
Right, like it's just part of her normal dance routine.
And she's and then at the people, and you can hear the crowd kind of go wild. So you understand the deal between Stephen A. and Michelle Beadle?
No.
Remember the white girl, blonde girl on ESPN years ago when they suspended Stephen A. for saying, well, he wondered why Ray Rice, what his girl was doing. Ray Rice hit his wife, his fiance.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Stephen A. said, you know, I wonder, you know, what did she said something like, what did she say to him? And Michelle Beadle went crazy, and all the women went crazy, but she was the loudest. They suspended Stephen A. because you could take that connotation as if she would say something that warranted her getting her ass kicked. But essentially, every man said to themselves, well, I wonder what she said, not because she deserved it.
Right. Just
What
curiosity.
triggered the guy?
Yeah.
What triggered him? Not that he could ever be right, but the point really is what triggered. I mean, I'd be interested in knowing what triggered him. Mm-hmm. Now, all of us, if you're a man who's ever had a woman that you fell in love with, women, the way women hit men is by their words. You know, they say shit. They can say shit that there's no coming back from. Where if a guy doesn't have a natural governor, he might swing because you wouldn't take that kind of shit from a man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now, but does that justify knocking your chick out, dragging her out of an elevator, and then kicking her to see if she's still moving? No. That's what Ray Rice did. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, shit. I said, of course, nothing justifies that. So Beetle comes after Stephen A., gets him suspended for 2 weeks. But she's been hating on this guy for 11 years, okay? And so Stephen A. is now clapping back because he hasn't said anything else. So here's his first class. And this is just a small snippet of him clapping back against Michelle Beadle.
See, I'm still there. You're not. Who you think they favored? Uh-oh. Haven't you tried to come back to ESPN? What'd they tell you? Uh-oh. She was pretty good at her job. So why are you stuck with a podcast with 2,500 subscribers on Instagram? He goes too far. No mas, no mas. Yes, Michelle Beadle, I know your boss. I know him well. See, I know why you're gone. I know why you ain't back. It's all because of that stink-ass attitude. Wow. Evil. Evil. You pray for my downfall? That's a nasty comment. I don't pray often. But when I do pray, I'm praying on his downfall.
Now, she actually said this, Ramsey.
That she prayed for his downfall.
I saw her podcast. She actually said, I'm not a religious person, but if I pray for your downfall. I mean, she's gotten so, not because people like Stephen A. Smith. She doesn't understand that what she just said here is cursing somebody.
Yeah.
This is a curse. I mean, that's why remember when LeBron left Cleveland? The owner actually cursed him in a letter.
He did. And he even had a billboard up or something like that in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, curse at him. We cursed at him? No, not cursed at him. Placed a curse on him.
Yeah. And that's why it's so surprising that LeBron
went back. I said, how are you going to forgive a guy for doing that? Yeah. It cost him $250,000 fine, but I don't think that was nearly enough.
Yeah.
So
another thing that, in the clip that you just played, that Stephen A. says, I know why you're gone from ESPN. I know your boss. Right. I know the reason. And that's dragging somebody else in. Even if this guy did confide with Stephen A., you don't drag him in and say, I know why you're gone because I know your boss. Basically.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there. But Stephen A. said, man, listen, this is just a short clip.
See, I'm still there. You're not. Who you think they favored? Uh-oh. Haven't you tried to come back to ESPN? What'd they tell you? Uh-oh. She was pretty good at her job. So why are you stuck with a podcast with 2,500 subscribers on Instagram? He going too far. No mas, no mas. Yes, crazy. Michelle Beadle, I know your boss. I know him well. See, I know why you're gone. I know why you ain't back. It's all because of that stink-ass attitude. Wow. Evil. Evil. You pray for my downfall? That's a nasty comment. I don't pray often. But when I do pray, I'm praying on his downfall. That's crazy. See, I'm still there.
That is so. And this guy is funny. This other guy, I don't even know who that is. That's a good clip.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. had a lot longer clip on what he said. But I agree with you about bringing the other guy in. But he had said he didn't want to do that, but he couldn't help it. He said he couldn't help it. But anyway, so Stephen A. got back at her. Now, this is the thing that Stephen A. is most mad at. Carrie Champion. You remember her?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right? So here's what he had to say about Carrie Champion, and I'm going to make sure I get it started at the right spot. Hold on for a second.
I didn't ask you to leave. It was your choice.
Hold on. Let me get it to the right spot. because he's miffed at her, man. So this is him saying goodbye to Michelle Beadle.
Champion. Kerry Champion is a person.
Okay, here we go.
They used to host First Take. Used to work at ESPN. Used to do Sports Nation, stuff like that. Did a pretty damn good job too.
Hey, Rich, I'm gonna have to jump off. My
I have to tell
daughter just told me she's got an overflowing toilet, and she just texted me. So I'm gonna have to jump off, man.
All right, man.
We'll catch up, man.
All right, take it easy. Later.
Right,
I was taken aback, and I think the word shocked does apply when it came to this Michelle Beadle brouhaha and seeing Kerry Champion say this about me. Please play cut number 7.
Stephen A. I played that Michelle Beadle clip for one reason and one reason only. I'm old enough to remember being on that show and getting in trouble based on some comments you said about women and whether or not they should know their place when it comes to abuse or non-abuse. Ray Rice comes to mind. Not going to get into the details of all of that. But Beadle just came for you yet again, like she did when I worked at ESPN. I wonder, do you have that same smoke for her that you have for Jasmine Crockett, that you have for Michelle Obama, that you sometimes display for me and Jamel Hill? Do you have that same smoke? I'm sick of it. Keep the same energy. And I call you and I root for you and I say, hey, I got your back. I'm happy for you. But you keep that same energy, sir, for everybody.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You just said, Kerry, you called me, you root for me. Why would you root for somebody that called you out in Jamel Hill, who's your good friend? Because it's never happened. Never. I've shown you nothing but love. What are you talking about? You were hired at First Take in large part because of me. You stayed as long as you stayed and had the support of the people that supported you because of me. Do I need to get bosses to confirm that I'm telling the truth? You know I can. When we see the diverse people that come on First Take, black people, women, the list goes on and on. Who did that? That wasn't happening when Skip was there. That was me. What are you talking about?
See, now he keeps saying what she's talking about because I think he really doesn't understand the dynamics of what's going on because he's been led by women his whole life. But I guess he doesn't, he's been placating to them, kowtowing and bending backwards for the way women think. And sometimes he's showing some naivete here. Kerry Champion, just pick a side. She doesn't give a shit what you've done for her. You came after a black woman, even rightfully so, and she's just following whatever stupid ass sister code there is and saying she's willing to throw your ass under the bus because you talked about that ratchet chick who was cosplaying as a ghetto girl that's a congresswoman. You know, so Carrie's on her side. You didn't have to do anything to Carrie. You did something to one of her girls, and so now she's your enemy. It doesn't matter what you did for her. That was the past. What's happening right now is that you're a man and she has to come at you because you said something against a black woman. That's all that shit is. You know, and just think about it. Both Michelle Beadle and Kerry Champion are both 50-year-old women, no children. I know Kerry doesn't have a husband. I don't know if Beadle was ever married. I don't think so. You know, those kind of women have a certain kind of mindset, period. Whether it's their mindset to have, it's their choices to make. But they have a certain kind of mindset. And affinity towards men and the power men have is not part of their mindset. Carrie's is one way as a black feminist, Beadle is another way as a white feminist. Neither one of them have any affinity towards men, especially men in power. And you need to understand that. You know, as far as if you're not bending backwards to placate what the hell they want, they're gonna be belligerent and they're gonna come after you. You know, and so here she's got you talking about, hey, with all the shit I've done for you, you treat me like this? And she's saying, I don't give a shit what you've done for me. It's what the way you make me feel right now that matters. That's where she's coming from. So whatever friendship you thought you had, whatever thing you thought you had with a woman like that, that shit is only skin deep. You know, that's it. That is absolutely it. You know, so there you have it. Because I know, because I like Carrie Champion as well. I thought she was one of the most beautiful people on TV. But I didn't know she was such a, I guess, quote, alleged misandrist, the way it sounds like she is when I hear her speak, and especially when she speaks when it comes to dealing with men. So anyway, there you have it, brother. You know, so I'm not going to let you keep going on here because you're going to go down a path that shows a little lack of understanding, because you could put up all the bosses you want. You could, because you're right about the way she's making you feel, but you're not thinking about it logically, where a modern woman like her is coming from. You're actually the enemy, and that's it. No matter what you've done in the past, thank you, but that was the past. This is now, and it's over. Anyway, bro, you deal with that. If I had a chance to talk to you on the radio or a phone or send you a message, that's what I would send you. Anyway, so moving on. So I have some questions here, and my man had to cut out. You know, so there's a question about, do you think Michelle Beadle hates Stephen A. Smith? Why does she hate him so much? Well, she has her own reasons for hating him. I think what he said about Ray Rice, that doesn't really bring it to the fact that she hates this guy over a decade. I think she hates the fact that he moved into a space that she thinks belongs to her. Because at one time, Michelle Beadle was big on ESPN. She has shows and opportunities and stuff on ESPN. You know, and then here comes Stephen A. Smith coming in. He becomes the pride and joy of ESPN. And she saw her grip go down. And from what I understand, she was never really that nice to work with, period. Stephen A. Smith around or not. She was so caustic with the people in her orbit, she didn't have no friends. She burned bridges. You know, and that's why she's at where she's at. And somehow the focus of her ire is Stephen A. Smith. And then what happened on Sirius Radio, where they brought Stephen A. Smith in, they put him in her time slot, which precipitated more hate because they had to switch her up. And then she ends up being kicked off the radio altogether, with pay, of course. But, you know, so the bitterness of this woman for Stephen A. Smith is so deep that she cursed him on a national radio show by saying she prays for his demise. You know, and they had a sycophantic man as her muse, and he was so dog shit weak, he couldn't check her. Hey, well, Michelle, man, maybe you don't want to curse, maybe you don't want to use the Lord's name in vain against somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just tremendously bad. Tremendously bad. Okay. So that's one thing. So the second question is Carrie Champion. I already told you what I felt. She revealed her misandry or misandrist type leanings by turning on one of her biggest male supporters because he said something about Jasmine Crockett, who doesn't deserve anybody's loyalty. They just had a white woman kissing her feet. And I mean, listen, this woman appeals to the lowest angels of the Black community. She's with an $800,000 education from grade school to where she got her law degree. She speaks like she's out of the streets, which is cosplay, because that's not what they send her to school to do. So that kind of fake and phoniness for the liberal Democrats to try to keep the N-words in place is something that I loathe. I loathe to the highest level. And that's the real coons of the world, okay? Those people who do that are the real traitors to the Black community. Anyway, so that's enough of that. And so Carrie Champion, that's her girl, okay? And girls like her, right? So there you go, the liberal Black female feminists. They'll hate any strong man who's not kissing their feet, okay? As simple as that. And then my last question is about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, has the question out there is, has his game, has it been hurt by his Meg Thee Stallion affections? I think it's coincidental. I think that guys who are married to women, guys who've been banging out chicks all along, NBA players, they play basketball without skipping a beat. I just think that he lost a couple of steps. I think more pressure's on him. Is he a little distracted? Yeah, but that's all off the court shit. How the hell is he being distracted on the basketball court? Because you think he's actually thinking about Meg Thee Stallion when he's playing basketball? Or is he just playing bad? And it's a coincidence. Now, I just think he's a veteran. He's not like now they said he had girlfriends in the past, right? It wasn't like he was going sexless his whole career with Golden State, all that shit. All right, so he might have a thing for Meg. I think that he's making a mistake. I don't think she deserves the kind of affection he's given her and the kind of things he's doing. I heard he bought a $8 million house with her without being married, without any kind of protections on his wealth. I think he's actually making a big, huge Iman Shumpert mistake, especially if he marries this woman, right? Because you see what this chick did to Iman Shumpert. So, and even though Meg has her own millions, that's not going to stop her from trying to take his if they ever got married and then broke up because she wants to stay in the streets. So, or want to return to the streets. So he's an idiot if he doesn't protect himself. But if he wants to have a relationship with Meg, that's not being an idiot. You just need to be in control. That's all. And if not her, yourself. That's it. But I have trouble thinking that he can't play basketball anymore because he got a girlfriend. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. It really is. So I think his problems, he got problems on the court. But we can't blame it on Meg. That's giving him too easy an out because that shit don't make no sense to me. I understand why people are saying that, but I think it's more coincidental than real in reality. Something is wrong with Klay on the court that he needs to work out. And right now, with all the people hurt on the team, he's got to step up and be the man as best he can. And that to me is just practice. And shit like that. So that's my questions for today. And what do I have? I had something about boxing. Yeah, I took it out of here, but I'll bring it back next time. They got some fights coming up, and you know what they are. I mentioned them before a couple of times. On the 22nd, the big fight that you need to know about is my man David Benavidez is going to be fighting Yardy on the 22nd of November. So that's just around the corner. I think it's pay-per-view, and that's unfortunate. I think that should have been on Netflix. But even if you don't pay-per-view, it'll be available the day after the fight somewhere on YouTube somewhere, and probably fully available at least a week after. So I don't see how anybody does pay-per-view anymore. This shit sounds like it's a failure now. Just should have made a deal with some kind of streaming service to bring that fight to the big screen and all that kind of stuff. I know it's not a huge money fight, or else we'd be talking about it. But David Benavidez should be the favorite in that fight. Yardy's pretty good, but here you know David Benavidez. Okay, so anyway, listen. If you hear this, you listen to this for a second, hit the like button. If you hear to this point at the end, put a dog emoji in the comment block and let me know that you were here. And I come here we put one of these out every week. All right. I want to go back live. So if I could build up some kind of people who might want to participate on a live stream, you got to put that in there, that raise your hand and say, yes, and I would like to do that live. But it's every Wednesday at 7:00. I do this, and then I put it out later on in the day. By 9:00, I'll have this posted on the channel, and then we'll go from there. Copyright. Appreciate everybody letting me use their stuff. So here's my disclaimer: it's all fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. I am going to put a timestamp on some of these stuff that I have. So if you want to just jump from football or basketball or to the banter section, you don't have to go through the whole thing. You can just skip around and listen to the things you want to listen to. Okay? And so that's how we're going to do that. So again, we're going to say farewell from the Swivel on the Sports Bar. And I appreciate you listening in. And then we'll just go from there. Outro.
Grab your friends, it's time to play. Join the fun, we're here all day. Watch the game with drinks in hand. On the swivel, let's take a stand. On the edge of our seats, we live for the thrill. In this moment together, we're feeling the chill. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. Bites and big screen thrills. Every moment gives you chills. High fives and cheers, it's quite a sight. Join the crowd, it feels so right. As the game goes on, our hearts beat as one. Memories in the making, oh, this night's just begun. So here's to the laughter as we gaze at the stars. We say goodnight from the swivel at the sports bar. In the flicker of the screens where our spirits ignite, let's cherish this time as we fade into light. So good night, my friends, till we meet again. In this world of the game, through thick and through thin.